That's right. Get it.
Keyboard guitar. Always wanted one of those.
And welcome to the 4-Point Plan, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, February 21st in 2021, and we are back here again at the 4-Point Plan, spreading the message that could change your life. It could save your life. If you or someone you love has a problem with drugs, right? Isn't that what they say on the commercial? Listen, man, if you need help staying clean, getting clean, staying clean, getting sober, staying sober, we have the formula. We can rebuild you. We know what it takes. It's called a 4-Point Plan, baby. That's what we're talking about here on the 4-Point Plan podcast. As always, I am your host, JR. I am a drug counselor in Los Angeles, California, and I am joined by two of my very best friends who are here to tell you about their experience with the 4-Point Plan. Say hello to everybody, Sean.
Good morning. Well, thanks for having me back on the show.
I have you on the show every week, buddy.
I know, but last week it was a little dark, so I had to turn the light on.
Oh, yeah. Turn on the light. Nice. And also, I want to introduce my friend Guy. Mr. Guy, what's going on, buddy?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, JR, for letting me back in the show as well.
You guys are always on the show. You're always on the show, and we're always here. We're always talking about the 4-Point Plan. What is a 4-Point Plan? It's a magical plan that will save your life. It'll give you a life beyond your wildest dreams. If you are struggling to get sober and stay sober, then try this plan, this 4-Point Plan. Like, a lot of people think that they have a better way, that they're smarter than this, that they got control over their addiction. If you have control over your addiction, God bless you. Maybe you're not even an addict. I don't know, man. But if you're struggling, man, and you can't get this, you can't stay sober on your own, we have designed this little thing, man. It's very simple. It's 4 simple things. If you do these 4 simple things, it could save your life. You could stay sober. You could stop using drugs. You could stop going to jail. You could stop losing relationships and losing jobs and all that shit, man. You might turn everything around if you do these 4 things. So let me run them down for you because they're quick, they're easy, they're simple. Anybody can fucking do it. I don't care what your excuses are. Anybody can do it. Unless you're like fundamentally incapable of being honest with yourself, and fuck, even some of the crazy people have done the 4-Point Plan and they've stayed sober. So listen, all you got to do, man, is go to meetings. You got to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. Get that? It's like 1 meeting every day for 3 months. Like, how hard is that? It's only like an hour to go to a meeting. A lot of people are doing meetings online now, so you don't even have to leave your house if you don't want to, right? But go to 1 meeting a day for 90 days and see if that helps, man. But also throw in that second point of getting a sponsor. Find a sponsor that you could call, man, who's been through the steps, who's gotten sober and stayed sober, and have them help you, man. They can teach you how they did it. Number 3, you got to find a home group. This is super important. It's one of the understated ideas around the program. Find a meeting that you can go to that you never want to miss, that you really enjoy the people there. You really enjoy the atmosphere. Maybe you enjoy the coffee, whatever the fuck it is that brings you back to your home group, man. Keep going to that meeting every week, right? So find a home group, and then finally, find a service commitment. Find a commitment. It's funny how many people get this wrong. They don't understand. But the people that get this right, man, these are the people that stay sober. I almost know nobody who's been active in the program, keeping their service commitments, who has relapsed, because you develop a responsibility. You have to show up to the meeting and you have to pass out chips, or you have to show up and make coffee, or you have to show up and set up chairs. When you have a responsibility to a meeting, you have a reason to go to that meeting, and you have accountability. Super, super important to have some accountability. I ask people all the time, hey, do you got any commitments? And they'll be like, well, yeah, I'm committed to staying sober. I'm like, that don't fucking count, bro. I mean, do you make the coffee? Do you fucking set up the table? You got to have a fucking real commitment, bro. But there are lots and lots of commitments. There's lots of ways to be of service to the program. We love to say you can only keep what you have by giving it away. That does not mean go find a newcomer who's homeless and give him your car, because that's crazy. What it does mean is you can only stay sober if you're learning how and teaching someone else how to stay sober, right? If you're going to the meeting and you're making coffee and that's the attraction that keeps someone coming back. You're setting up the literature. Maybe, man, maybe you do reach into your pocket and spend $8 and buy them a big book. I don't know. But find a way to be a service, man. Find a way to give back to the program. I know people that their service commitment is to go to a meeting in a park every day, because here it is, it's 2021, there's a pandemic. Most of the in-person meetings are outside. So I know people that go to the park and they take the commitment of cleaning up cigarette butts. They go around and they reach down into the grass and they pull out the cigarette butts and throw them in a trash bag. And that's their service commitment, man. And you might think, oh, that's disgusting. I don't want to do something like picking up cigarette butts. But these people are grateful for the opportunity to do it because they know it's their opportunity to give back to the program that saved their life, right? And guess what? They don't get paid for it. They do that shit for free. They just basically volunteer to find a way to be a service to the program. Speaking of this, you know how much money I'm paying Sean and Guy to do this podcast with me?
Whoa.
$5,000.
I'm still waiting for my check, actually.
That's right. I pay them none. They get no dollars and no cents from me for doing this podcast. I am not paying them because this is just another way, man, that we give back for free. We give it back for free. Now, this is not a program affiliated service commitment, but this is a way to freely give what was freely given to us. And we're going to keep doing this, man, because somehow there's a spiritual benefit to helping out newcomers. And the point of the 4-point plan is to help the newcomers. We don't have a podcast to help people with 10 years clean. That's not what we do around here. We're not here to, if you're an old timer and you've been sober for a long time and you're listening to this podcast, the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus, go listen to a fucking true crime podcast or watch some porn or something. Don't listen to this podcast. This podcast is designed to help newcomers. This is designed to help people who are trying to get sober and stay sober, right? So we're here today. We're going to teach them about being a service, man, and giving back to the program and helping people stay sober. If that means going out and picking up cigarette butts, man, I know people that are grateful to go out and pick up cigarette butts. When I was doing the program, I wanted to get the greeter commitment. Commitment. This is hard for people to understand, okay? But we voted at my home group. They had a fucking vote over me or this other guy who would win to become the greeter for the next year at our home group, okay? And I won. But that dude was like, it's cool, I'll do it next year. A year later, when it was time to do the commitments again, we all voted for that guy, and he was excited to get it. He was excited to become the greeter a year later, okay? This is when you take recovery seriously, then you take commitment seriously. You take being of service seriously. So this dude got it and did it for a whole year. Dude's got like 15 years clean now. Dude is killing it, right? Because being a service, man, getting a service commitment is not what you think, man. It's not like, oh, man, fuck, now I got to go to the meeting. It's like, oh, shit, man, I'm going to the meeting. I got my commitment tonight. That's what you say, man. It feels good. It feels good to know that you're not just ripping off the fucking program, man. You're not fucking loitering around the program. You are contributing, man. You are participating. You are a part of a fellowship, and you're a part of helping people stay clean, and you're doing that shit for free, man. Sometimes you go to AA meetings, and one of the commitments they have is called the fucking Grapevine, right, Guy? I think Guy spoke at a Grapevine meeting recently. There's something called a Grapevine, which is a newsletter, right, that AA distributes around the world. And there's always the fucking Grapevine announcement. And like, they'll be like, do we have an announcement from the Grapevine? And some dude who has the Grapevine fucking commitment will stand up at the meeting and be like, hey guys, we put out this newsletter every month and we're taking stories and art and contributions. And if you want to buy a Grapevine or have any questions, come up and talk to me after the meeting. And I'm like, that is fucking weird. But that dude's here every week saying that same shit. And you know what? It's a commitment. It's a service commitment. It's helping to keep this motherfucker stay clean. That's how it works, man. And I bet you when that day rolls around, the meeting's coming up tonight, and he's like, "Oh man, do I really have to go to that meeting?" His mind will click, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I get to do my commitment tonight. I'm the grapevine dude. The grapevine dude will make it to the meeting because he's got a commitment." I love the way this shit works. I love the way, and I know this is going to turn off some people right here, but I'm going to say it. I love the way they fucking brainwashed me. All right? I used to be a dude that fucking would rob from my grandma to go fucking buy some drugs and shoot up. That was the kind of person I am. I went to AA and they fucking brainwashed me. And now I'm the kind of guy that is excited to go to a meeting and make some coffee. That's how they brainwashed me. I am a fucking brainwash victim, and I'm so fucking grateful that I am. Because now that I've been brainwashed, I don't live in a fucking tent anymore. I don't sleep outside in a fucking sleeping bag because I have no fucking home anymore. I don't wake up in fucking jail cells anymore because you guys fucking brainwashed me into fucking going to work and paying rent and having a fucking life beyond my wildest dreams and having my own bathroom to go to. And yeah, man, I don't hang out in porta potties no more. I can't remember the last time I shot up in a porta potty, but I know it was over 12 years ago, right? Now I don't shoot up no more, and I have my own bathroom where I can go in there and sit on my phone and look at Facebook. That's what I do. That's how I get down. All right. I was brainwashed into a better life. Part of the brainwashing was finding a way to get back to the program. So I love the program. I'm gonna always get back to it. And one of the things I love about these two guys I do the podcast with is these two guys are service junkies. People will say commitments keep you clean, but they'll also say people hide out in meetings, right? People hide out in service. And both of these dudes right here, man, they hide out in service, man. Service commitments keep them coming back to meetings even now. Even guy with 4 years and Sean with 1 year, they're constantly going back to meetings because they still got lots of commitments to do. It's badass. You know, I went to a meeting last night. As soon as I logged on, I heard Sean say, "Hi, JR." I was like, "Oh, Sean said hi to me." Then I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's a greeter."
Yeah, I saved you a seat. I told you I saved you a seat.
He said he saved you a seat, and it was on a Zoom meeting. He saved me a Zoom seat,
a Zoom square.
Saved me a square.
Yeah, I did the greeting commitment, and honestly, I didn't like it at first, but then I realized why my sponsor made me do that one because it's a 6-month commitment. And you have to greet every single person that walks up to the meeting. You shake their hand, you ask how they are to get out of your head and try to get them to, engage in, with contact with you. And, after the first few months, I started, you start knowing these people by name, and it's just, that's how the fellowship and the connection starts. So it makes sense now why he wanted me to be that one. But at first I was like, I don't want to talk to these people because I was the one that was quiet and didn't want to, I don't know. I just didn't want to engage. Now it makes sense, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, commitments are huge. They really are. It's a double win plan with a commitment. Commitments are necessary for the meetings to work. The meeting doesn't survive without somebody who brings the coffee. The meeting doesn't survive without somebody who takes care of the money that is collected, counts it, and then turns it in. The meeting doesn't survive without having a secretary. The meeting doesn't survive without the people picking up the cigarette butts so that they're allowed to have a meeting there. If you leave cigarette butts all over, there's no meeting. They'll kick you out of the place that you're having the meeting at, whether it's a church, a park, or wherever you go. They don't like that. So they need people to do it. It gives back to the meeting, but the kicker is there's a bonus to it. It helps keep those people that are doing those commitments coming back to the meeting and remaining clean and sober. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like what JR said. Yeah, they got brainwashed. I got brainwashed too because my 90 and 90, I had to get a commitment at every single meeting I was at. So I was 7 meetings a week, at a commitment each one. But the commitments are minimum 6 months long for the one I went to. And so even after my 90 and 90, I still had 3 more months of commitment. So I couldn't stop coming to the meeting.
They tricked you.
Yeah, I got brainwashed. I'm a victim of a brainwasher too.
They roped you into it.
Yeah,
they roped me into it.
They roped me into it. Nice to see JR. JR had the cigarette butt. parking lot cleanup at one of the meeting commitments. I
That's
remember.
awesome, man.
I've never seen him outside sweeping up. I'm like, man, I like this guy.
That's awesome, man. I love people that think that they're not, they're not too good to do something like pick up cigarette butts or something, or take the trash out after the meeting. You'll see people. There'll be people like struggling, a little lady struggling with this big old leaky bag of trash at the meeting, and some big old dude just sitting there looking at her.
Yeah, there's a guy at my meeting who has 25 plus years, and he was the one who emptied the cigarette butts at the end of the meeting. I was like, it was impressive because I would think that after that amount of time he'd have a different kind of commitment. Those ones would be for the newcomers, but no, it didn't matter. He was out there. He emptied the trash can every Friday night. And
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, Sean's home group, man. Those dudes take it seriously. Like all the old timers there, you see them stay in a service. They ain't just be at service; they stay at service. The big dude that does the coffee at the men's meeting. I was always like, right on. That dude's got a lot of clean time. He's taking it seriously. I like, for me, I like the secretary commitment, because secretary in 12-step program is kind of like the person who's responsible for opening the door, for getting the speakers, for making sure everybody else does their commitments. That's the secretary position, right? And usually they'll sit near the front of the meeting. There's some prestige involved with it. And so I always dug, when I got the opportunity to be a secretary, for the prestige. Yeah, I do this shit the wrong way a lot of the time, but fucking whatever, bro. I'm a fucking egomaniac, and I'm like, oh, I want to be the secretary of the most popular meeting in the world. So I got to be the secretary of my home group for a while, which was called Sharing from the Heart, but it used to be called Sharing on the Bones of Others. So I got to be the secretary of the Standing on the Dead Bodies of Dead Drug Addicts meeting of Narcotics Anonymous.
What?
It used to be called Sharing from the Heart.
Yeah.
No, it is called Sharing from the Heart.
Right.
It used to be called Sharing on the Bones of Others.
Oh, bones.
But
wow.
Yeah, but I would, when I was a greeter, I would say, hey, welcome to Standing on the Dead Carcasses, Standing on the Dead Bodies of Others.
Are you the reason why they changed that meeting?
Probably.
The name of it?
Dude, the newcomer meeting used to be called How to Use.
What?
This is NA.
Yeah, because you go to a newcomer meeting, and what are they going to share? What do they know? The only thing a newcomer really knows at that point is how to use. So they used to call the newcomer meeting How to Use. It's fucking hilarious.
Hilarious.
So Sharing from the Heart, that was my home group for a long time, and that was I got to be the secretary of that meeting. And man, that was prestigious, man. Like I used to tell, like I got jobs. I went to job interviews and I was like, I'm the secretary at Sharing from the Heart. That was like a big deal, man. That's a fucking cool
Put it on your
deal.
resume.
Wait, isn't Sean a secretary of a meeting?
Wednesday night men's stag, quality of life.
You're the secretary at the Quality of Life men's meeting?
Yeah, men's stag. Actually, we just did elections now. It's somebody else. My 6-month commitment is up.
That's pretty prestigious.
That was only a 6?
That one's 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine I'll be one of the other ones in the next 6 months. But no, yeah, I enjoy being a secretary. I mean, mine was through Zoom, so it's a little different. They didn't give me a key to the door, which I was really looking forward to. But there's always next time.
Yeah.
But
you'll get a key.
Yeah, I mean, I was responsible for finding a leader, and I mean, it's good in this format because I actually have to call people, to ask them to be the leader of the meeting and to close the meeting. So
wait, did Guy lead it?
No, he did not. I think he.
Son of.
I was gonna ask him, but
I think I work at that time.
yeah, he does. I already talked to him about it.
Yeah, he talked to me about it, but I worked during the time of that meeting.
Yeah, he turned down the AA request.
Wow.
Oh.
No, he didn't. No,
Guy is also a meeting secretary. Maybe not right now, but as long as I've known him, he's had some secretary commitments at some serious meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did for a long time. When we went to Zoom, it kind of like carried over. We didn't really even have elections yet. So we just rolled them over. I just finished up a secretary. And
You're there for a few years for that one?
Well, no, at that meeting on the Friday, I was for over a year.
Yeah.
Was it almost a year and a half, and then I did it for like I did another meeting for like almost a year as well.
You know what was weird when Guy was the secretary, right? He is the most popular person in AA. You go to
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of meetings. Guy goes to a lot of meetings, and so people love him because he's got a bubbly personality and everything, right? So he takes a secretary commitment and he gets a co-secretary, and then the co-secretary gets jealous because Guy's so popular, and they just fall off, and then Guy ends up never being the
Oh, I don't
secretary.
know. Commitments are amazing. I need to pick up another one right now though.
For what
I
meeting?
like
Friday?
getting people. I'm kind of like a commitment wrangler. I like getting people to get commitments.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of do that right now.
So yeah, quality. We have a head of commitment for each meeting.
Right. Like how I got that from you guys. I learned that from your meeting, Sean.
Yeah.
You guys have people that are in charge of like, all right, who's doing what? Like who's getting this commitment? And I kind of like nudge people in that direction. Oh, they need this over here or need that over there.
Yeah. Every single person that goes to that meeting has a commitment.
That's
Right.
so cool. You know, I got a buddy. We call him Funkmeister, Tales of the Funky, Tales of the Funky, Mr.
Oh,
Funk.
Master.
Mr. Funk.
Yeah, I got a buddy named Mr. Funk. And when he got clean, man, he took on 4 secretary commitments in his first year. And
Whoa.
in A, you have to keep your commitment for an entire year. So for an entire year, 4 days a week, this dude had to find leaders and speakers for all the meetings for a whole fucking year. Now, I've done secretary commitments, and just finding one leader that week is kind of pain in the ass. Imagine having to do 4 times a week for an entire year. But here's the thing: he had to get the keys to all the places. He had to make sure that all the commitments were covered at all the places, that they had GSRs going to the area meeting and everything like that. And he did it, man. He fucking, every time he went to those meetings, he'd be sitting up at the front of the room. He would be the secretary. He was killing it. And he's still sober today. And this dude, man, he's got life beyond your wildest dreams, man.
Awesome.
One, he's cool as shit. You don't get a name like Funkmeister by being
Yeah.
a fucking dude. Now, this dude is fucking cool. He looks like one of those prison dudes with the tinted glasses and the sideburns, right? He is fucking cool as shit. And he's tatted down like most fucking cool guys in Southern California. He's got way too many tattoos. And he met this girl at the meeting, and she's cute. You know, she's one of those cute girls that has the bangs. Like, whenever girls wear bangs, you know they're going to be cute, right? So he got this real cute girl. He started dating her, right? And he invited her to the tattoo shop where he's getting a new tattoo. And they filmed her walking into the tattoo shop. And he's like, "Hey, honey, come over here. Check out my new tattoo." And she walks over, and the tattoo says, "Will you marry me?" With a checkbox says yes and a checkbox says no. And he handed her the tattoo gun and said, "You got to answer by tattooing me." And so she tattooed the yes box, and they got married, right? So now dude's got a pretty wife, and they got a little kid, and he's the president of a classic car club. Like he drives hot rod cars. He goes to car shows, and he still goes to meetings, man, because he did the commitment thing, man. And from doing commitments and the rest of the 4-point plan, but from doing commitments, man, this dude got a life beyond his wildest dreams. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is how it fucking works.
Yeah, it really is true. And there's no way to put it into words. Cause like when I first started, the commitments didn't make sense, but like now, you know, well into my second year, one solid year looking back, all my bills are paid on time. Like I show up on time early, and all that is a direct result of my commitments through the last year. There's no doubt about it. 100%.
Oh, that's an important point, Sean. And I'm glad you brought that up because you reminded me. When I got here, when I got sober, I couldn't keep a job. I was fucking unemployable. I was dirty. I was ugly. I was smelly. I was not the kind of person you wanted to have come work at your place of business, right? But what I did was I got a bunch of commitments my first year. My second year, I got a bunch of commitments, man. And I learned to show up early and to stay late. just like Sean does at his meeting. You get there an hour early or half hour early and you stay fucking late, man. And so I did that. And then once I started, cleaning up and going to job interviews, people were impressed by me and they would bring me in and I would do my job that way. I was never late. I always was there when I was supposed to be there. They could count on me.
I bet you got to know a lot of people by doing that.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
I bet you got to know a lot of people by doing that, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Right.
So getting there early, you meet people as they walk in, and I mean, I'm not the social butterfly I may sometimes appear to be.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I've got insecurities in my head that tell me people aren't going to like me. I don't want to talk to them. But if you're around these people long enough, even if you think you don't like them, you're going to end up having to fucking talk to them.
Yep.
And sometimes that shit backfires and you become friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Triple-edged sword.
That's how it was at my meeting. There was this guy there. He still goes there. I don't know if I should say his name. His name is Alex, and he's been there a long time. And at first, like I didn't think like our personalities. I just didn't think we liked each other, And then I remember it was his, however many year, 15-year birthday, 16-year birthday. I called him and left him a pretty funny message. And then he called me the next day and he goes, "Man, that was the best message that was the best message I had this year was you." Because I was like, yeah, I didn't think we were friends in the beginning, but then our friendship kind of blossomed, and I don't know, it kind of made his day. And ever since then, we've been pretty good friends. And it's like at first I didn't think we liked each other, but
yeah,
that guy hates me.
The more I kept going, like we just talked about little stuff. It just eventually just evolved into, and it was like a lot of people, like JR. I'm not a social butterfly either. I used to be when I was a kid, but then I did a lot of time and it changed me, and I'm trying to get that back now.
Yeah, I get that. I get that too. I understand. You'll hear that from a lot of new people that are going to meetings. They're like, I just don't talk to people. Nobody talks to me, and I get it. There's people like that, and I understand. Especially when you're sober, you don't know how to speak. You don't know how to do anything, and I get that. But okay, the meeting needs some people to do some things around there. So get this: you do like one of those things around there, and I guarantee by you doing one of these service jobs that are needed and required at the meetings to keep them functioning, people are going to notice you. They're going to say, "Oh, thank you for opening the door for me as the greeter. Oh, thank you for wiping down these tables. What's your name?" And all of that kind of stuff. They're going to get to know you. It's magic right there.
Now, when they told me service will keep me clean, commitments keep me clean, I thought that meant I needed to do all of them. So I wanted to do all the commitments, and there's different levels of commitments. There's meeting level commitments, like what we're talking about, being the secretary, being the greeter, bringing the coffee person. But there's also area level commitments, because the meetings don't exist in a bubble. They exist as a part of a larger service structure. So there are area level meetings every month where all the meetings in the area will find one representative to send to the area level meeting, and they'll get together to do the business of the area, whether that's scheduling new events or donating money to the World Service Office or setting up panels to go out to hospitals and institutions. There are things to do. There's services to do at an area level. And so early on, 6 months in, I got my first GSR or group service representative commitment, where I got to go to area once a month. And the area meetings can be a trip, man, because sometimes people are there and their egos get involved and people will argue over stuff that makes no difference, but it happens, man. And you just kind of get used to it. So I got the opportunity to be a service area for, well, I think 9 years in NA when I first got sober. And I was the H&I vice chair, the H&I chair a couple of times. I got to be the area chair, which was like being the meeting secretary. It was a prestigious thing. I went to job interviews and said, "Oh, I'd chair the area, or I'd chair the H&I for the area," because it was a big prestige thing, right? But it was a way to be a service to the area, because like I said, I thought that, I needed these commitments to stay clean. So beyond area, there are also regional level commitments. So the region office for Narcotics Anonymous is in Monrovia, California, which is just a little bit past Pasadena. It's about a 45-minute drive from my house, right? So once a month, I would drive to Monrovia and I would represent the West End area, either for H&I or for just for the area itself, or sometimes to participate in a H&I subcommittee called Sponsorship Behind the Walls, where I would go out and I would act as a clerk, and I would receive letters from people in prison and distribute them out to like pen pals who were sponsoring them in prison. And so that was a way for me to be a service at the regional level. So get this, I've got multiple meeting level commitments. I have 1 or 2 area level commitments, and then I had a regional level commitment too. So for me, I felt like all those pieces, if I was going to do all that at one time, that was going to keep me sober. Okay. And I'm going to let you know a little secret. It fucking worked, y'all. It worked. I'm still sober because I did all those commitments. When I tell people to do commitments, it fucking makes goddamn sense, man. It works. I did commitments at every level and I stayed sober. I got 12 years sober because I did commitments. Do some fucking commitments. Don't sit there and jerk off at the meeting and sit there with your fucking camera off and sit there and not talk to anybody and not do anything. If you're going to come to the meeting, or even worse, come to the meeting and you're going to talk to everybody, but then you're not going to fucking do something to give back, you need to give back, man. You need to be a service. You need to get fucking service commitment. If you're not sure how to do that, go to the secretary and you say it like this. Hello, Mr. Secretary. May I have a commitment? And then they'll tell you what the fuck to do. Do it like that.
That's simple.
It works.
Yeah.
I love commitments.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Go ahead, guy.
Sorry.
I don't want to hijack the meeting. Go ahead, guy.
No, well, right now we're in a Zoom format with a lot of meetings. And that reminded me, because a lot of people are saying there's no commitment. We can't do commitments right now with Zoom. Commitments are gone. I get it. And you're not going to be wiping down tables. You're not going to be bringing coffee. I get it. They do have commitments. There's different types, and sometimes it's the meeting. They don't advertise that there is certain commitments still available. You got the literature. You can have a literature person still. You can have a treasurer still. A guy that I've been working with. He got a commitment as a scribe at a meeting. A scribe just writes down everything that's happened at the meeting. They list the people that are new to the meeting, the newcomers. Who took chips during that meeting, who celebrated birthdays, other types of things that goes on during the meeting. Then you make an announcement at the end of the meeting. And I was like, all right, that's an awesome commitment, man. He's all, it's a little overwhelming. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, it's cool, man. You can do it. You're a bright guy. And he's like, but that meeting, because it's Zoom, it's a big commitment. There's 160 people that show up to that meeting every week. So
damn.
Yeah. So he's writing down like crazy, man. But it's working for him. He told me he says, I feel like I'm really a part of it. And a lot more people are talking to me, guy. And I said, oh, you better believe it. They see that you're willing and you're putting in the effort in to do this thing and help out.
Yeah, we have a guy who posts the Venmo link in the chat. That's his commitment.
Right. Yeah, you're meeting Sean. You're big on commitments, and you can find jobs for everybody to do. Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
So we know this guy, the three of us know this guy. We're not going to mention him, right? But we know this guy who is newish. I think he's just got a year clean. And he is the chip person on the Zoom meetings for a couple of the meetings we go to. Uh-huh. So he but here's the thing, man, because he has these commitments, he shows up, and it's a beautiful thing to see. We're at the meeting, man. And as soon as he pops up on the Zoom format, as soon as we see him in the little square pop up, we're like, oh yeah, there's dude. He's here to do his commitment. He's here to do his
chips now.
Yeah.
We can get our chips now.
When I first came in, I wanted to do H&I, and you have to have at least 6 months to do H&I. So I used that as a goal at first. Okay, well, I have to wait 6 months so I can do H&I. As soon as I turned 6 months, I went to orientation to do H&I, which is hospitals and institutions where we take the meetings to people who can't go to meetings, people in prison, jails, and, treatment centers. And then, there was a couple of people at Quality Life who was very active in H&I and like the convention, the AA convention. So I got involved in that. I got on the H&I committee. So I used to go there once a month. Then I got on the AA convention committee. And I recently just had a meeting with central office manager last week. So I'm going to start that this Thursday. I'm going to start doing that, go answering phones. I have to stay active because otherwise if I don't stay active, my mind will push me away. And next thing you know, I'll be back in detox or something.
That's right.
I
And I
love
know
those
that.
H&I commitments, man. I had a panel for my first
Awesome.
9 years, man. Like every month I would call up people and say, hey, can you come and do my panel tonight? And it was either at a Salvation Army or at a kids treatment center up in the hills in Malibu. I even had it at fucking Tarzana Residential for a while. So like having commitments, man, of H&I and doing panels is really a blast. Now for me, I liked it because I would get the opportunity to go and share my story, and then I wanted to polish it up so that I could continue to speak in other places, and maybe that's an opportunity, or maybe that's the reason why I take advantage of this podcast is the opportunity to come and speak, man, because I loved the opportunity to share my story and to tell people how it worked for me. Because if someone could do what I did, man, and get the results that I got, I know it's way better, man, than dying or going to jail or going back to rehab over and over again. This is a much better life, man. And so if you get the opportunity to go and share your story, go do it, man. If someone asks you to go and speak at a meeting, you go speak at a meeting. I think Sean was joking about this earlier, but you never turn down an AA request, man. If someone asks you to go and do something, participate, you do it.
Unless you have a prior commitment, but other than that, yeah, you never turn it down.
Never turn down a request, guy.
Right. I didn't.
Unless you have a prior commitment, then it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I was at the I got requested to lead the Grapevine yesterday, and I didn't really want to do it, but I don't turn it down.
How'd that go?
It went excellent. It was really good. Got to see some people I haven't seen in a while. That's another good reason to go.
And I made a commitment with my sponsor before the pandemic that I would do one panel a month, because I used to go to the H&I business meeting once a month, and so I was able to, because it usually fell on a Monday, and I have a meeting on Mondays, but so once a month I had to miss the meeting to go to the H&I business meeting. So he said, fine, that's okay. You just have to do one panel a month to make up for that meeting.
That's
nice.
Fair enough. That's good. You're still involved. You know what? I was thinking of, there's this there's not very many meetings in person around our area right now, and so there's some people that are going to the meetings, and another new guy, he says, I got a commitment at one of the meetings. They use a microphone, and he has to wipe the microphone down, right? And I was like, all right, man, that's a great commitment, to keep the microphone safe. And I was like, well, all right, do you do it at your home group? He said, yeah. He named the whole place. And I said, no, like which meeting during the week do you do your commitment? And he's like, well, they saw I was doing a good job, so they just wanted me to do it at every meeting because I go every day. And I said, wait a minute, you mean nobody else wanted it? He's like, no, nobody else really wanted to do it. And there was other people that were talking to. I was like, see, man, there's a commitment for you right there. You can get this commitment. You can help this guy out. He does this every day, 7 days a week. You can take one of those days off his hands where he can sit back and not have to run around the meeting the whole time. So there is commitments out there if you look hard enough. There's work that needs to be done. Give back, right?
Give back.
That's funny. I talked to the blue hair girl. I said, hey, blue hair girl, I tell the people to go to your meeting, man, because I know you're always there. And I know that you secretary sometimes. And so I just tell them, go to that place and look for a girl with blue hair and ask her for a commitment. And she's like, I know you do. I just got another one. He's the guy that wipes off the microphone. So that must be your guy.
That must be the same guy, yeah.
The blue hair girl.
Dude, we're brainwashing people over here. It's what we're doing, man, with 4-point plan, with the 4-point plan, brainwashing people. I tell people about the 4-point plan so much that I'll ask them, I'll be like, I'm confused. Wait a minute. how many meetings is it? And they'll be like 90 and 90. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, well, and then you're supposed to get someone to help you. What's that person called? They're like, oh, you mean a sponsor? You got to get a sponsor? I'm like, right. And what's that meeting that you go to every week? A home group? And you talk about home group, JR? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then, you know, what do you do at your home group? You should probably get a way to give back and be a service. Oh, you mean get a commitment? Yes, that's what I meant. Get a commitment. Oh, and I've been brainwashing people about the 4-point plan, man, and it's working. It's working. It's in their mind. So maybe they haven't done it yet, but the formula has been planted in their brains, and they know deep down somewhere in their subconscious that if they want to get clean and stay clean and stay sober, all they got to do is the 4 simple things of the 4-point plan. All they got to do is do 90 meetings in 90 days, get a sponsor, a home group, and a service commitment. Be a service, man. Be a service.
Yeah. Sometimes we're hesitant when we're brand new. We're hesitant to do new things and do things differently than what we were doing when we were getting loaded. But you know, so it's funny. We bring up these 4 points sometimes and things that might help keep a newcomer clean and sober, and they might be hesitant against it or reluctant, I should say. And then before you know it, some of these people that at least that I talked to about it, they're like, well, actually, I'm doing it. I'm doing all 4 of those things. I'm like, well, then all right. I love that one. I love when they're hesitant to commit to doing maybe these 4 things, and then before they realize it, they're actually doing them, but reluctant on doing it. It's amazing. I love those stories.
I like to tell them, man, if you keep doing what you've always done, you keep getting what you've always got, man. So why not try something new, and maybe you'll get something new.
I love that.
Yeah, that's how I knew I had to make a change, because what I was doing wasn't working, and I didn't know any other way to do it. So like being asked to speak at meetings, and I used to always start my share with like, I like to thank the secretary for asking me to share in this uncomfortable situation, because I know I'm making a change and I'm doing something different. So the first couple of times I shared, it was a disaster. It was super uncomfortable, but you know, like JR said, you keep doing it, you get to polish up your story, and panels is a good way to do that.
Yeah.
I used to like going to panels.
You know, when Sean goes on panels, he wears suit.
Yeah.
I see all these people suited up walking into a treatment center one day, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? Jehovah's Witnesses here? What's going on here? I look up at Sean. I'm like, oh shit, Sean, look at you in your little suit, man. What the fuck is going on here? That's crazy. He's like, oh man, we're here doing a panel. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, get in there and share your story, man. Carry the message to the still suffering addict. That's how this thing works, man. You got to save a life in there. Yeah.
I think that was the first panel I ever did, was that day. I just turned 6 months, and I was so excited to do it because I had to wait 6 months to do it.
And that's how you tell the winners from the losers, man. That's how you tell if someone's going to make it. If they approach this thing with enthusiasm, if they're looking forward to the day that they have the opportunity to go and share, that means that, you know, they're on the right track, man. They're approaching this thing the right way. There's a difference between someone who has to do it and someone who wants to do it, right? But really, all that fucking matters is people that do it. If you fucking do it, you do it. If you do it, you do it. If you're doing recovery, you're doing recovery. If you're going to meetings, working with a sponsor, got a home group, and got service commitments, if you're doing it, you're doing it. Even if you're faking it till you make it, man, as long as you're faking it and you're doing it, fucking do it. But when I see someone that's excited to do it, man, who's looking forward to doing it, can't wait for their opportunity that when they get 6 months to go and share on a panel, or when they get 1 year where they can go and facilitate a panel, or when they get 3 years and they could go and be the treasurer. Like what you do, there's like little milestones, little goals that you can set for yourself, man. And when people do that, man, you see it in them that they have the opportunity to stay sober, that they're on the right track. And I saw that in both of you guys, man. And it's funny because Sean's still in it, man. And he remembers the enthusiasm that he had. Like, I was looking forward to my first panel. Well, fuck yeah, man. So was I. As a matter of fact, I think I went to my first panel when I had 5 months and 3 weeks. And I called the dude and I was like, I was like, oh man, I can't speak on your panel because I don't have 6 months yet. I'm a week shy. And he said, you know what? We'll go ahead and make an exception for you. So I got to speak. And guess where I spoke? I spoke where we work. So go figure. I spoke at Detox. It was with 5 months and 3 weeks clean.
Yeah,
Nice.
it happens. You were willing.
I was
You're
excited. I was more than willing.
excited and excited to do it.
But that was the first time I met Guy. He was doing a panel or a book study. So happy and bubbly. Made me sick.
I love doing that. You know, just volunteering your time, showing people that volunteering is a big thing. And I'd make a point, let people know that I was volunteering. Nobody gets paid for it. I wasn't even working there when I first started doing that. I got involved early too. I saw what was, and I saw myself what was keeping people sober. And then I heard people say it. They would say, like, this is what keeps me sober. And I was like, oh, okay, I better do that. I was desperate, man. I wanted to stay sober. I did not want to go back. And I knew I had that thing in my head that would want me to go back. I knew it, that it's there. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do that.
That's right. You can only keep what you have, man, by giving it away. That's what they told us. And we went in and we bought in, man. And a friend of mine told me early on, he said, man, now that you've been here for 60 days or whatever, it's time for you to stop loitering. It's time for you to fucking be a service, man. Find a way to be a service. And I've stayed at service since then. It's the way to do this, man. You got to do what you got to do. And you can only stay sober by fucking being of service, getting a commitment, being a part of the program. Don't be a loiterer, be a participant. Don't be a bystander, be a participant. The best things in life come when you do them, not when you fucking watch them, but when you participate. So I'm going to keep participating. What about you, Sean? You going to keep doing this thing?
Till the day I die. I remember, I think it was that guy's 4-year, when he took 4 years, there was somebody sharing about Guy and they said something about Guy came in, he sat down to do the book study. And Guy said, took his badge off, his work badge off. And he said, I'm just an alcoholic just like you. The badge is nothing. I really like that story when that guy was saying that. That was pretty awesome. You remember that? Or am I making this up? Hello, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to keep doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guy, what do you say, man? You going to keep being of service and doing your 4-point plan?
Yes, I need to be of service. I feel guilty if I don't give back or do things just to keep things going. I'm looking forward to some of these meetings opening back up. I want to start doing some area commitments here pretty soon. I think I'm at that level. Some area or some getting more involved in I don't know about region, but at least the area. And I don't know. I just feel like that's the next step for me right now.
Well, good news, brother. I know a guy that's volunteering over at Central Office right now. His name is Sean. Maybe you can get him Sean, and you can figure out how to be a service on a larger level. But in the meantime, man, you keep doing this, man. Keep coming back to the 4-point plan and sharing your experience with the people, man. Telling them about 90 and 90, telling them about sponsor, a home group, and telling them about commitments, man. Service commitments. Commitments will keep you clean. Being a service can keep you clean. If you want what we have, you do what we do. And what do we do, man? We do it all, man. We stay at service. We give back to the program. Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you for listening to the 4-Point Plan podcast. We're going to be here each and every week sharing this beautiful message of the 4-Point Plan. What is that? 99? Get sponsored, get home group, get commitment. Yeah, baby. Check out the website, 4-Point Plan. Spell it out, 4pointplan.com. If you want to email us, type in the number 4pointplan@gmail.com. And we will keep doing the 4-Point Plan. We're here for you, baby. We love you. Thank you. Woo!